Young and Restless early spoilers March 24th to 28th. Victor's bombshell, Phyllis crumbles and Nick says no. On Wednesday, March 19th, we've got Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, asking Nick to go to Europe with her and Faith Newman, Raylynn Castor. She's going to go over there to see Noah Newman, Rory Gibson. But Nick says no. Because he really thinks Sharon needs time with just her and the kids to do some healing. And he encourages her to take Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, as well as Faith when she goes. When Sharon presses him, Nick declines again. But later he says he'll think about it. Sharon and Nick also talk about the possibility of a reunion. Both of them admit they've thought about it. And he tells Sharon he's had the feeling that she was hoping something would happen. But Nick thinks it's a bad idea for them to reunite. Because he hurt her so badly in the past. And he does not want to lose the friendship they have right now. That's kind of a bummer. Because Sharon's been holding out hope for that. But it's a big no to Europe, no to that. Will he relent? We'll see. Chelsea Lawson Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, makes a romantic dinner and dessert for Adam Newman, Mark Grossman. And they have a lot of fun. And then they finish the evening in the bedroom. They make love for the first time since that one night they had in Baltimore last year. And Chelsea and Adam both seem all in. There are no real obstacles in their way. This looks like a softy reunion, so my one question is, which of them will screw it up? Because we know somebody will. Y&R spoilers. Tracy's engagement drama. Paris wedding plans and a mysterious fiancé. Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland, tells Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, that she wants to get married in Paris. But Jack is worried she's going to run off and elope. Tracy promises that she will not and says she wants Jack to walk her down the aisle since her dad, John Abbott, formerly Jerry Douglas, isn't around to do it. Alan Loron, Christopher Cousins, drops her a message to say he got the last seat on a flight to Paris and is going to have a surprise waiting on Tracy when she flies in. Jack's a little worried about how fast it's moving. But Tracy's in love and said they're just going to Paris to look at venues. Then Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, shows up with an update about Phyllis and Sharon, and he gets an update on Tracy's engagement. And when she mentions that Alan was getting these strange alerts on his phone about a clinic, Kyle thinks that's a pretty strange coincidence. Because Phyllis and Sharon, although they're safely home now, were held captive at a clinic. And Tracy wonders if the kidnapper might be targeting Alan. Oh, poor girl. Sorry, no. The kidnapper is your fiancé, or more likely his evil twin Martin. Unless of course Alan has turned up with did like Ashley Abbott, Eileen Davidson, did. But I assume it's not contagious and that it's just Martin. Young and the Restless. Phyllis's post-kidnapping trauma and Summer's concern. Summer Newman, Allison Lanier, is very worried about Phyllis. And she tells Nick that her mom hasn't been herself. She's been on edge a whole lot since her ordeal and since she got home from the kidnapping. And Summer wants Nick to come check on Phyllis with her and see how erratic that she has been. Now, that is the last episode of the week, by the way. Because on Thursday, March 20th, and Friday, March 21st, we have no new episodes of The Young and the Restless. It's preempted on both days due to CBS Sports coverage of March Madness basketball. And all I have to say about that is boo. We could watch sports on ESPN if we wanted to. How many ESPN are there? I know on my cable there's like ESPN 1, 2, 3. There's at least 3. Why does it have to be on CBS replacing Y&R? Young and the Restless spoilers. Victor's secrets, Phyllis's struggles, and Sharon's rejection. Moving into the week of March 24th through the 28th, Phyllis is in a really bad state. She seemed very positive when she and Sharon got out of there, and she told Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, she was ready to move forward. And she wanted to just get to work on Abbott Communications. And Billy was down with that. But things have taken a turn. Summer is completely right that Phyllis is erratic, and she is falling apart, some kind of aftershocks from her kidnapping ordeal, and Nick does show up to check on Phyllis as Summer requested. But it doesn't look like he is who Phyllis wants. She really wants Billy to help put her back together, which that's very nice that he's willing to do it. But that cannot be a good thing for Sally Spectra's, Courtney Hope, romance with Billy. Meanwhile, Victor has some sort of secret connection to Alexander Dumas. That's the guy who owns the companies that Damian Kane, Jermaine Rivers, is running and lied and said that he owns, so it's all very complicated. So when Victor was looking into Damian, obviously he knew about a lot of this. A lot more is known to him than what he shared with Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, so it seems like he definitely has a connection to Duma, possibly also to Damien. Now it doesn't look like Victor is a fan of this guy Duma when he talks to Michael Baldwin, Christian LeBlanc, about their association. Spoilers for Young and the Restless. Alan's deception unravels and Sharon's romantic dilemma. So fake Alan has taken off out of Genoa City. I suspect to get away from the scene of his crime that he committed against Sharon and Phyllis on Young and the Restless. Actually a lot of crimes if you think about it. And I wonder if the surprise that fake Alan is cooking up for Tracy is good or bad. It's hard to tell what this guy's endgame is and if he plans to hurt Tracy or if Alan loves her or if he just, I don't even know, it's so bizarre. Tracy though finally wises up, and she starts having some doubts. And it might be that info from Kyle about the clinic alerts and that Phyllis and Sharon were held at a clinic that finally has Tracy sitting down and cataloging all the red flags over the past few months, like when he acted like he'd never seen the Abbott house before, which would be true of Martin. But not true of Alan. Because he had visited there with Ashley before Tracy had brought him there, so that's one big thing. Young and the Restless. Will Sharon give up? Then there's the fact that when the alerts were coming in and he said his phone was hacked, then he said he hadn't been using his phone. And Tracy reminded him he absolutely had been using his phone. Because he had been texting her, so there's a lot of inconsistencies. City has seen its share of chaos, but the latest week begins with a thunderclap that shakes every core family. The Newman patriarch Victor isn't just back in charge. He's wielding his power like a man on a mission. While many have underestimated him in recent months, this week proves that no one outmaneuvers the mustache. But as his latest bombshell drops, shockwaves ripple through the city, shattering alliances, reigniting old flames, and pushing Phyllis Summers to her breaking point. Victor's bombshell drops. It starts with a quiet morning at Newman Enterprises, but that calm vanishes when Victor storms into the boardroom, eyes blazing with authority. Adam, Nick, and Victoria are seated, each anticipating the usual corporate sparring. But Victor doesn't waste a single second. "I've made a decision," he declares, his tone slicing through the room like glass. "One that none of you will like." Victoria leans back, her lips curling with the faintest hint of defiance. "Another change in leadership, Dad? Because we've had plenty of those lately." Victor smirks. "No, this time it's permanent. I've decided to merge Newman Media and Newman Enterprises under one CEO." Gasps echo around the table. Nick immediately shakes his head. "Dad, that's reckless. You're talking about combining two empires with totally different objectives." But Victor isn't finished. He looks each of his children in the eye before landing on Adam. "And the person I've chosen to run this new entity is Adam." The silence that follows is suffocating. Victoria's knuckles whiten around her pen, Nick's jaw tightens, and Adam sits frozen, not sure if this is a victory or a trap. Victoria's voice trembles, barely masking her rage. "You're rewarding him? After everything he's done?" Victor's tone is cold. "I'm rewarding the one child who still fights like a Newman. The rest of you have gotten too soft." Nick stands abruptly, eyes flashing. "That's it. I'm done being part of this circus." Nick says no. Victor's bombshell pushes Nick over the edge. 4 years, he's been the voice of reason in the Newman storm, but now he's had enough. After the meeting, he corners Victor in his office. "I can't do this anymore," Nick says firmly. "You pit us against each other like gladiators, and for what? So you can feel in control?" Victor glares at him, voice rumbling like thunder. "You don't understand what it takes to protect this family boy." "Maybe not," Nick replies, his tone softening but his resolve unwavering. "But I do know what it takes to lose one, and that's exactly what you're doing." For the first time, Victor looks unsettled. He doesn't respond, doesn't yell, doesn't demand obedience. Nick walks out, leaving behind not just his father, but his legacy at Newman. Later that night, Nick meets Sharon at Crimson Lights. Her gentle smile fades when she sees the exhaustion in his eyes. "You walked away again," she says quietly. "This time for good," Nick replies, rubbing the back of his neck. "I can't be part of his world anymore, Sharon. It's toxic." She reaches out, touching his hand. "Maybe stepping away is the only way to save yourself." Their eyes meet for a moment too long, sparking a flicker of something that once was. But before either can say more, Phyllis walks in. Phyllis crumbles. Phyllis has been spiraling for weeks. Between her guilt over past schemes and her loneliness, she's losing her grip. When she sees Nick and Sharon sharing a quiet, intimate moment, the cracks widen. She approaches their table with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Well, isn't this cozy? Coffee and closure. Nick sighs. Phyllis, don't start. Start what? She snaps. You're sitting here with your ex-wife again, like nothing ever changes. Sharon stands, keeping her voice calm. Phyllis, maybe we should. Don't you dare patronize me. Phyllis hisses. You always play the saint, Sharon. But we all know what happens when you get close to Nick. You never stay, just friends. The room goes silent. Nick's patience snaps. That's enough. I'm not doing this anymore. You need help, Phyllis. Those words sting more than he'll ever know. Phyllis's face crumples as tears threaten. Help? You think I'm crazy? No, Nick. I'm just tired of being alone. Before anyone can stop her, she rushes out, her heels clicking like gunfire on the tile.